Hey everybody, Keegan here. I wanted to talk today about the new Joker movie and Batman and the Illuminati and how it's all kind of tied in together. I don't know if you've heard that there's speculation that with the new Joker movie there's going to be a mass shooting, but I want to talk about how the Illuminati is running things behind the scenes. So, for one, recently it's come to my attention that there's a letter that went out from the Department of the Army, Memorandum for Record, subject Crime Awareness Prevention Action. The Army is saying that there's been speculation that on the internet, or the dark web specifically, there's chatter that people are going to attack movie theaters that are playing this new Joker movie dressed up like clowns. Um, the reason why this is important is because I've been saying for years that the powers that be stage these shootings because they want to take away your gun rights. And this is all part of a big Illuminati plan that they brag about and they joke about and they slip in all their movies and TV shows and whatnot. My buddy actually sent me a text. He's saying his girlfriend works at a local movie theater. He says, well, Joker comes out Friday. The Department of Homeland Security had her sign a disclosure about possible incidents. How set up is that? Watch for multiples this weekend, multiple shootings. Seems fishy to me. This is happening everywhere, like all over the country right now. Movie theaters being warned. And they're not inciting violence, they're inciting fear. They want you to be afraid. So there's a thing called October surprise where like every election cycle there's something that happens around October that could sway the election one way or the other. But I wanted to show you how set up and how far back all this really goes. And I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. This is the old Batman TV show. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the secret society Skull and Bones, but it's basically an Illuminati recruiting club. It's like a fraternity at Harvard and Yale, which is where students will be members of this secret club. And down the road after they graduate, they have long-term connections. Well, the Illuminati works like this too. Prescott Bush, which is George Bush Jr.'s grandpa, he founded Skull and Bones. When he was in the army, him and his buddies actually went and dug up Geronimo's grave and took Geronimo's skull, went back to Yale, and created a secret society there where initiates actually have to swear in on Geronimo's skull. There's been lawsuits from Geronimo's family members trying to get the skull back. But I found this in an old Batman TV show, and you got to see this.
That is Bruce Wayne's grandfather, Mrs. Cooper.
His great-grandfather.
I understand he was tapped for Skull and Bones.
Tapped for it? Sir, he founded Skull and Bones.
So they just said that Bruce Wayne's great-grandfather founded Skull and Bones when Prescott Bush founded Skull and Bones. So this implies that everything about Batman has a Freemasonic or secret society or Illuminati foundation right from the get-go. And there's this whole saying that they have to let us know. So I just, I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but the propaganda and the weird stuff that happens in the Batman movies, it's always been there. Even in the cartoons, there's weird Freemason symbols and stuff. But the next thing I want to show you was Bush and John Kerry being asked about being in Skull and Bones. Check this out. And if you've never seen this, I mean, you guys should be looking at this stuff while you can, because it's not always going to be around. Oh, let me see. Is it not going to work for me? Come on. Give me a break. So Bush and Kerry were both bonesmen at the same time. And the thing is, with most fraternities, you pledge to be in. But with Skull and Bones, you're actually tapped. So they only take in about 11 members every 4 years. So Bush and John Kerry were both members of Skull and Bones at the same time. I don't know why it's not working for me there, but I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was in 2012, the Aurora shooting, but that was when that kid dyed his hair orange like the Joker and went in and shot up the movie theater and everything. Supposedly, he was a college career
You were
student.
both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
Here it
It's so
is.
secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
First of all, he's not the nominee, and look, I look
Are
forward.
you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not gonna lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is it?
So I just want to play that again. They were both members of Skull and Bones.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
First of all, he's not the nominee, and look, I look
Are
forward.
you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not gonna lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's...
So Batman's great grandpa was a Skull and Bonesman. John Kerry was a Bonesman. Bush was a Bonesman. I mean, it's weird stuff. And now we're seeing all this stuff about gun rights being swayed one way or the other, with somehow Batman being involved with the 2012 James Holmes shooting where he dyed his hair orange. Some people say he was doing it to be like the Joker from the last movie. You got Bane. Bane was one of the guys, the villain in the movie that James Holmes shot up. Now, James Holmes, the shooter, supposedly he was a college-paid salary student. He had never broken the law before. He had like body armor on, a bulletproof cup. He was armed to the teeth, but when the cops showed up, he gave himself up willingly. Didn't put up a fight, didn't go out suicide by cop. Then you've got James Holmes' grandfather supposedly worked with DARPA, who makes all the CIA gadgets and stuff, and Mars Milky Way candy bars, and they supposedly were working on a candy bar that a soldier could eat at a time during duress, and it would slow his heart rate down. And while James Holmes was going around shooting everybody during the Batman movie, people say he acted like a cold, calculated killer. They also say that they think there was multiple people. You can see multiple news clips where people are talking about how they think there was more than one person, because there was like cans of tear gas being thrown from the other side of the theater and all this stuff. But in the movie, I think I have a picture of it here. In the movie that he's shooting up, there's actually a scene where Gary Oldman points at a map. He plays Commissioner Gordon. He points at a map, and it even says here at 158 in the movie. Yeah, but at 158 in the movie, you can actually see Commissioner Gordon point at a map of Gotham City, and on the map it says Sandy Hook, which takes place 6 months later in Connecticut in real life. And he says, bring it all down. In the background, you hear another police officer say there are no coincidences. That's in the movie. That's why I think all of this has some sort of Illuminati or secret society connection, because there's all these weird, subtle things, not only in the movie, but there's shady stuff with the actual guy that did the shooting. And that's just that one Batman shooting. And they connected the Joker to that. And then you've got that one summer, was it 1 or 2 years ago, where everybody was afraid of clowns. Remember, there's people stalking people as clowns, and all these videos on YouTube, people running away from clowns. A year later, the movie It came out. This year, It 2 came out. Now the Joker movie's coming out. Everybody's all hyping it up about how, Joker does a mass shooting or something in the movie. Is it going to cause another one? And it's like they're promoting somebody to go out and shoot up someplace so they can blame guns. This is like a big, giant attack on guns. I also bring up Bane from The Dark Knight Rises because, that mask he wears at the Denver International Airport. If you've ever heard of that place, lots of spooky stuff, lots of weird Masonic murals and stuff on the wall and stuff. But there was a painting of a guy that looked like Bane. This has been there for 10 years, 12 years, of a guy that looks like Bane shooting people up. And then there's all these people running with their arms up in this painting at the airport. And then off in the distance, there's all these people from around the world throwing their guns in a fire. There's a big rock at Denver International Airport that's dedicated to the Freemasons and stuff, the local Freemason lodge there. There's lots and lots of weird stuff when it comes to Batman and Bane and the Joker. There was a comic book in the 1980s where Bane actually shoots up a movie theater. I get to this William Cooper quote. Um, this guy wrote a book in 1991, and in the book there's a chapter, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, and he says right here, the government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for criminals to use. This is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. The CIA inculcated the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging for the government to do away with the Second Amendment. Holy crap. And it's like they're using superheroes and supervillains as a way to kind of tug on our heartstrings. And I don't think there's anything, well, there's tons of things sadder, but when the Aurora shooting happened, that really hurt me inside, because I remember as a kid, one of my earliest memories was going to see the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman movie, and I just remember how much fun that was. And I just keep thinking about the people that were shot up in the movie theater, how there are people there just going to have a good time to, celebrate the idea of superheroes. And if you think about it too, Batman, right? Uh, Supposedly the Illuminati's ran by shapeshifting reptilians. What do? Drink blood. What do bats do? They drink blood. So somehow there was created a superhero based off this idea of a blood-sucking creature. So, if there are reptilians or whatever, evil entities, demons, aliens, whatever, running the Illuminati, and they've absorbed themselves into our culture, it would make sense that they would try to get us to idolize a Batman or something. That's just, these are just my opinions, But there's lots of weird stuff. I wanted to bring up Heath Ledger's death, because Heath Ledger, lots of people think he was an Illuminati sacrifice. They think they have to take, people that bring about a lot of like energy to like the arts or politics or whatever. Every once in a while they got to sacrifice one of these guys, or as a famous person you have to choose somebody close to you to sacrifice, and every once in a while you have to renew your contract. And Heath Ledger either didn't renew his contract, or they sacrificed him because they knew his roles, the Joker, was going to do substantially well. Or he just, overdosed. But there's a lot of people, including Randy Quaid, actors that actually knew him, that think there was, something weird about his death. I also want to bring up Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is playing the new Joker. Heath Ledger played one of the last Jokers. Jared Leto played Joker, but I think he's been going to the Met Gala, and he's been going to all the Illuminati parties, so he's probably got another good 10 years or so on his contract. He'll get roles from here to there. I also think it's weird, the Joker that he played at the end of Suicide Squad, one of the only couple minutes he was even in the movie, the Joker was dressed up in full military garb, just like James Holmes when he went in and shot up the theater. I keep kicking my camera, don't mind me. Anyhow, I thought that was kind of weird, but that's neither here nor there. But Heath Ledger played the last important Joker, and Joaquin Phoenix is playing the new one. And if you just Google Joaquin Phoenix's name, one of the things it says in his Wikipedia page is that he was raised in a cult. His family were kind of B-rated actors, or they were somehow connected to Hollywood. They went down to South America, were involved in this weird cult, and then they came back, and the kids had to like perform on the street and all this stuff. They ended up getting them agents or whatever. But River Phoenix OD'd at Johnny Depp's nightclub. River Phoenix was his brother, and Johnny Depp owned the Viper Room, and people think that River Phoenix was Johnny Depp's sacrifice to get him kind of bumped up, or that River Phoenix OD'd inside the club and they actually dragged him outside onto the street and left him there. And then Johnny Depp and a couple other people that owned the club, they left the country while all that was going on. Weird stuff, but and again, maybe River and Joaquin Phoenix, or maybe Joaquin Phoenix knows a little more about River's death. Maybe he knows more about the inside dealings of how Hollywood works. I don't know. But I normally enjoy Joaquin Phoenix's movies and his acting and stuff. So I'll probably end up watching this new movie. But I'm not going to go to the theater to see it if there's all this hype about, well, I hope we don't get shotgun in the movie. I'm going to stay at home, and does that mean the terrorists win? Yeah, it does. Kind of pisses me off. I'm not going to go see the new Downton Abbey, so it's just frustrating. Here's Ben Affleck, who played Batman. Again, Batman. He's talking about how Hollywood is full of CIA agents. If you go to the CIA's website, you can see that there's actually an entertainment liaison that goes to Hollywood and goes to people that makes Hollywood movies and says, hey, if you put military or United States propaganda in your movie, we'll give you access to military bases, a specialist that can train your actors, all kinds of different locations, prop pieces, all kinds of stuff. If you don't get the stamp of approval from the CIA liaison, you have to outsource your military vehicles you use in that movie or whatever. So if you're even trying to compete with other movies in Hollywood, you have to basically get the stamp of approval from the CIA, and they more than likely will ask you to put little goodies inside your movie. We're going to go save the world. Hold on, I got to get my flu shot real quick. Anyhow, go America. No, that's, yeah, kind of being overzealous about it. I found this, I thought it was kind of interesting. Here we have a photo of Jim Morrison and his father, yes, the one he claimed was dead, on the ship that caused the Gulf of Tonkin incident, also known as the lie that sparked the Vietnam War. As you can see, Jim looks pretty clean cut here. He also did a commercial for Army recruiting. If you don't know who Dave McGowan is, or the book he wrote linking several musicians together residing in the Laurel Canyon, California, and how all their parents came from very high-ranking, prominent military and blue blood political families at the same time Project MK Ultra was happening. MK Ultra was a government program where they brainwashed people, got them to do certain things. They made spies out of people that didn't realize that they were being used for spying. They used LSD during all this. If you're not familiar with Timothy Leary was also a part of the MK Ultra project. That was part of the ways they would be able to split somebody's mind or get them to create an alternate personality was through LSD. Timothy Leary is Winona Ryder's godfather. And if you watch the Stranger Things Acceptance Awards speech, she looks like she's MK Ultra glitching out and stuff. But there's a chance that they use people that are on MK Ultra to either commit these terrible acts like the mass shootings, so the CIA can claim non-involvement, no, it's just a crazy person, or they're actually using MK Ultra on celebrities to get them to promote propaganda, like gun control. That's just one theory. Here's another thing I found about Ra's al Ghul. In the first Batman Begins, Liam Neeson plays a character called Ra's al Ghul, who's the bad guy, but he trains Batman on how to be Batman. As above, so below, doesn't matter. Ra's al Ghul is an international criminal and terrorist mastermind whose ultimate goal is a world of perfect environmental balance. He believes that the best way to achieve this balance is to eliminate most of humanity. So every couple years, they come around and cause anarchy, and society crumbles, and then it rebuilds itself. That's what secret societies do. They think they're the pillars of civilization. They help prop countries up. Pillars of the two pillars of Freemasonry help prop cultures up, and then they let them crumble, and then they rebuild it, and they try to make it better than it was before. But the entire time they're in control, not you. So that's why we need to be aware of this kind of stuff. Ra's al Ghul also had this thing called the Lazarus Pit. It had rejuvenating chemicals that could restore the dead. The Illuminati's into life extension technology. They weave this stuff right into the Batman mythos so much, and I can't believe I was so naive to not see it this whole time. But I just wanted to see if you guys were aware of this. I want to bring some of this stuff to your attention. I'd love to know what you think. So thanks for tuning in, and watch the new Joker movie, but I would maybe hold off on it, or at least be aware. There's a Q post back in the day that said, what do rats do when they're cornered? They send in the clowns. Donald Trump refers to the CIA as the Clown Intelligence Agency. So what if this mass shooting being carried out by clowns is being done by the CIA? I mean, that would just be Q post number 500 and blah, 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 blah coming true. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm looking too much into this. But I'm going to get some sleep. Anyhow, I'm Keegan, and in the meantime, don't roll your eyes at me.